We're
We'll hear.
Hello, everyone. Hello.
Oh.
We live. That's what the computer says.
Yes.
It says that we are live. Come on, Instagram. Come on, Facebook. Welcome, LinkedIn. Welcome, Twitter. Who else is on here? Welcome, Facebook. Welcome, Jumpin' Juice 10,000 fan group.
Yeah.
We all here.
We are here, guys.
You know what I like to say? I may be black. I may be ugly. But I'm here. What's going on, y'all? If you don't know who we are, if you're just joining us, we are. Come on, y'all, get on in there.
Come on in.
We are. Well, I'm Sean. Who might you be, babe?
I am his wife, Michelle Clark.
And first of all, we're the owners of Double Dutch Aerobics.
Hello.
Right?
Double Dutch Aerobics.
I don't know if you can see that. Bam.
Yeah.
All right. So we're the owners of Double Dutch Aerobics, but we'll tell them what Double Dutch Aerobics is.
Okay. Double Dutch Aerobics is a formatted 60-minute workout class where we teach aerobics moves in the Double Dutch rope. It is always led by an instructor, either ourselves or a certified Double Dutch aerobics instructor. If you want to teach Double Dutch in any way, in any format, if you want to start your own Double Dutch aerobics business, then you get certified.
By the way, certification is a 3-day,
18-hour
process. It ain't no joke.
But it's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun, but it's super intense. So if you're going to get certified, you better get ready. It's going to be a good time.
And we teach you how to teach anyone how to jump Double Dutch in less than 1 minute guaranteed.
Now, we are also the host of the Jumpin' Juice 10,000.
Yes. What is the Jumpin' Juice 10,000?
Well, the Jumpin' Juice 10,000 is a 10-day juice cleanse with 10,000 people juicing at the same darn time.
At the same time.
So we did it back in January.
Yeah.
Super successful. We're doing it again.
We're doing it right now. Our plan is to do it every season.
The goal is to get 1 million people juicing at the same time.
That's the goal.
We're going to get 1 million people juicing at the same time. Watch. All right. So let's hold on, make sure everything's clear. Everything's cool. Everything's set up.
Everybody in there like swimwear?
All right. Listen. You know, when we did a 60-day juice cleanse last year, and during the 60-day juice cleanse, I watched a lot of people.
Yes.
And, you know, you hear us mention Jillian Berry all the time. So I've been watching her since then, and I still watch her till this day.
That's right.
And that's where I saw this young lady.
Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you, food, juicing, it works.
It works.
If there's one thing you're gonna get from this juice cleanse, it works, y'all.
It works.
And so we bring another person on here just to prove it to you. Listen, don't listen to me. Hey, keep me out of it.
Yes.
Right? We're gonna bring in Lachey.
Yes, welcome, Lachey.
Yay!
Hi, how are you?
Hello, we are good. How are you? You looking fabulous, honey.
Thank you, too. Y'all got that juice cleanse glow. Like you just know what you're cleansing. Because y'all got like that Jesus aura, the halo.
Jesus. Yes. You know the juice glow. You can see when someone's juicing. It's just like it's a shine. Like people always ask what we use. Sometimes people ask what I use on my skin, and I'm just like, Jesus. Because you know I need to grow up, but I wash with Dove. I may wash with shampoo if I feel like it. You know what I mean? I don't really have
whatever we got now.
Whatever we got. But really, in all honesty, it is, you know what I'm saying? It's the foods that you eat that really clear your skin. But we're not here to talk about skin. We're here to talk about you and your healing story. We watched you on Jillian. It's very inspiring.
Whoa.
Still inspired. You got me thinking about what I'm gonna eat when I finish this. And I'll mention some things that you said that just stood out to me clearly. But what's the first question you always like to ask?
Oh, we always like to ask, what was your diet before you jumped into being like raw vegan and juicing and all of that stuff?
What was your diet?
What was your diet like growing up?
I feel like it was like the standard American diet, the standard American Black household diet. You know, we grew up on fried chicken and you know the greens with the ham in it.
Come on.
The mac and cheese and the candied yams of like 10 pounds of sugar. And, you know, like that's how we ate. And we ate like that all the time. My mom fried chicken at least 3 times a week. You know, we have like,
really, that's nice.
Wow.
She said, that's nice. Like pork chops, you know, just just a very meat heavy diet, dairy heavy diet. I love processed foods, obviously, chips and snacks. And as soon as I got me a job and started making my own money, I was the order out queen.
Yep.
Steak and cheese subs, and I used to love to get me the buffalo chicken wraps, the buffalo chicken Caesar wraps. Yeah, so I ate how like most people do, very unconsciously. It tastes good, you eat it, and but that could only last too long until I started developing certain health issues, and I never really connected it with my diet until I came across certain information, and then slowly but surely, the seeds were planted. Didn't necessarily mean I started making changes right away.
Right.
When the health issues got bad enough, it was almost like I was desperate enough to finally do what needed to be done in order for me to start moving in the opposite direction of, instead of being in Hellville, going to Wellville, you know.
Come on, somebody. Wait, instead of going to Hellville, we going to Wellville. That's a word.
Write that down.
That's a word.
But so something you said in your story, and I'm gonna let you finish telling your story. But something I say is that women, teenagers with heavy periods, are then women who suffer from endometriosis, fibroids, PCOS, who are then women who become women in their 40s and 50s, who then have to get early hysterectomies, or even not even early hysterectomies, period,
yeah.
who have to get hysterectomies. And so I know that that's part of your story, because what we want people to know is just like our body gives us signals.
That's right.
We have just been literally conditioned not to listen.
That's right.
We've just been conditioned not to listen. So can you speak to that? What was your story, and what were signs that you were given, and how did you end up, on this journey of healing, of wellness?
Yeah. I mean, since I was in high school, I can say as early as like 14, 15 years old, I always had really extreme menstrual pain, like premenstrual and in the menstrual pains.
Right.
Just debilitating cramps. It would be accompanied with vomiting.
That was me every month.
I would throw up every single month. I was popping back the Midolls like they were, vitamins. Because it's like it did help with relieving the pain, but I in hindsight, I wonder like what kind of toll did that take on my liver, taking those Midolls like so frequently as I did, month after month, year after year, to get rid of that period pain. But yeah, extreme, like really heavy bleeding, blood clotting, cramps, vomiting. Yeah, like it was so bad. I couldn't even go to school some days. When I got old enough, I'd have to call out of work.
Now, what did you feel like so you had people around you, what did they think of that? Like as a teenager, what did your family think of that?
They just assumed like, I'm telling you, it's one of those things we're so conditioned to think that women, because it was only that time of the month, right? Like after my cycle was over, I was back to regular. I didn't have no pain. There was no clotting. There was nothing irregular outside of just like those 5 to 7 days of just like, and it would only be like the first 3 days where it would be the worst, but then it would get better over time, especially after I started taking the pain meds. Right. But I definitely never got sent to like my OBGYN as like a teen to get that checked out. Like, so there was never any follow-up. It was just something that I assumed was normal. Like women, some have it worse than others. I just felt like I had bad luck, Like, in hindsight, I ate a lot of dairy. Like my favorite food was Kraft mac and cheese. That probably ain't even real cheese. It's just powder. But I used to love that stuff. And I used to put so much milk and butter in it to make it creamy. So just all that dairy in my body, I feel like that definitely had something to do with like the hormonal imbalance, because you're literally ingesting the hormones of like 1,000-pound cow.
Yes. 100%.
So yeah.
Something's got to grow. It's funny. I always tell Michelle all the time, even for guys in high school, we knew when girls were having their period because they would be laying on the table with their coats over their jacket, like doubled over in pain.
And it's normalized for all of us.
We thought it was normal. We thought that's just what happened.
That's what girls go through.
That's what girls go through. And we would feel terrible.
And that's just it.
And that's it.
And then they blamed it on Eve, talking to she ate an apple. Yeah. And I'm like, so why I gotta have pain? Like, number one, apples have been curing my cramps. So
God designed it this way because Eve, that's how you in pain. Oh God, isn't it terrible? Oh my God.
So what made you make the flip?
So what did that lead to? How did that? Yeah.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm listening to this.
Okay. So the premenstrual stuff was my reality, is something I normalized. It was one of those things where at a point I couldn't ignore it anymore because it went from at least like from those 5 days or those 7 days of the issues that went along with that coincided with my period. It actually started to get systematically worse in my reproductive organs. So it went from bleeding heavily for a few days to after my period was like off, like the faucet was like turned off. It just wasn't turned completely off. I'd start spotting then. So now I'm like having to wear pads all the time or panty liners. So it never like would stop. And then it got so extreme to the point where it was almost like I was indefinitely bleeding for like a couple of years. Like I literally was like always on my period.
Wait.
Years?
Yes, for like 2 years.
Here's
the thing, right? So a normal person, I'm like an avoidant personality. So I knew it was something that needed to be taken care of. I knew I had to go to the doctor to get it checked out. It got so bad that I actually started developing a tumor in my abdomen and I looked pregnant because I was like thin. And then there was a tumor the size of a melon that eventually had to come out that I had to get an emergency surgery on. The problem is that I was a heavy drinker at the time. I was just like really depressed, heavy drink. I just did not take care of myself. So I never like went to the hospital to get it looked at, taken care of. I was always afraid of going to the hospital and being diagnosed with cancer or something like that. Yeah. So I would just act like if it didn't exist and I would drink and numb and avoid that. Like I knew it was just kicking the can down the road. And it just got to a point where my back was against the wall and I couldn't ignore it anymore. Physically, it just became debilitating. Other symptoms started to go along with the heavy bleeding because I was bleeding every day. So my iron got really low. My oxygen was really low because like I was bleeding all the time. So I started developing respiratory issues. So I couldn't breathe. I had like all of this like mucus overload, overproduction in my lungs. I kept getting reoccurring chest infections. I had like basically walking pneumonia. And then it got to a point where I started to feel the infection. And that was honestly like around 2019, 2020. It literally felt like there was like a bruise on the inside of my chest, like on my lungs. And I remember like pivoting in a certain way with my shoulders. And it felt like my skin brushed up against like a sore inside of me. So it scared the living crap out of me.
Right.
And I still wasn't like, I'm going to the hospital. So like for years, I was like listening to Dr. Sebi, like following accounts like Fully Raw Christina. Like I even had a stint where in 2017, like before my surgery, because I had the surgery, I had an oophorectomy where it's like a partial hysterectomy where they get rid of one fallopian tube and one ovary. On my left side, I barely remember at this point, but like partial hysterectomy and an oophorectomy. So I still have like my uterus and I still have like my right side. And I mean, everything is like fine. I could get pregnant if I wanted to. It would just be twice as hard, but personally I don't want kids. So like, I'm okay with that. However, so I had that. Fast forward, I knew a lot about raw veganism. I was researching it, wanting to do it, but just never implementing it. And then when I got sick enough, it was like that body of knowledge, everything that I've accumulated over the years, just
right.
It was like, okay, like I literally feel like if I don't get it together, I'm going to die. So
let me pause you 1 second, just to be clear, because what did they actually diagnose you with? Like, what was the name of it that they had to give you the surgery? Was it fibroids? Was it endometriosis? Was it PCOS?
It was endometriosis. So it was like stage 4 endometriosis. It was like I had an endometrioma because they had to remove the tumor, which was the endometrioma. It was just like basically all of that blood tissue, all the endometrial tissue just kind of built up over years. Because when you have endometriosis, you have like the tissue that builds up because the blood is supposed to kind of go like through the uterus and out, but it sheds on the outside of the uterus, and then it kind of hardened, and then it sticks to the uterus and the other organs. So it can actually be, it's a really like serious disease. It sounds like it's not that serious. It sounds kind of like benign, so to speak. But it's a pretty serious disease, and because it can block the tissues, can harden and block your bowels. It can make it hard for you to, like go to the bathroom. So it's very serious. And so yeah, I just wasn't producing enough progesterone to like stop my period. So it was like constantly bleeding all of the time. So it just built up to this point where it developed a tumor. They were like questioning if it was cancer, like they had the oncology department involved. They're actually debating. The oncologist said it was cancer. My OBGYN surgeon said it was an endometrioma. Who knows? What I know with all the knowledge I have now since I've been on my health journey, it's acidosis, it's toxemia. You have all of these toxins in your body that accumulate over time, and our eliminative organs are not eliminating said toxins the way that the body is designed to get rid of them. Your kidneys aren't filtering the way that they're supposed to. Your lymphatic system is just stagnant. Those fluids aren't fluid. It's just like mucus, and the toxins that's supposed to get traveled through those, they don't dump where they're supposed to, and they get stuck and they get stagnant, and our bodies just stop working how they're supposed to. So like, I understand that now. Like, I don't care what disease or what diagnosis I'm given. At this point, I know that it's just an accumulation of toxins, and I need to cleanse my body.
That's it. That's really it.
That's it.
So wait, after the surgery, did the bleeding stop?
So after the surgery, they put me on hormone therapy. So they put me on Depo-Provera. So I was on Depo-Provera for a couple of years, and that actually made my periods just stop, period. Like it just, and honestly, it was probably the happiest time of my life. I didn't even
say because the release of the opposition.
Yeah. It's really the opposite of what's been happening.
Yes. And I was okay with that because it was just like nice to not be bleeding. So I would much rather not have a period at all than to literally have one every single day of my life. Like it affected everything. It affected my sex life, my love life. Like,
100%,
yeah, like I don't want to be intimate with somebody when I am like always bleeding. Like I'm self-conscious about that. So it can like mess with your relationships. And, it just like made me just kind of like want to isolate. And I was sick all the time. So it just affected my relationships in general, my relationships with my family, my friends, because I didn't want them to know how sick I was because I was so stubborn and I didn't want to go to the hospital because I kind of always knew what I had to do. I just didn't do it until I had to. And I didn't trust the conventional medicine system enough because all I know is they were just going to put me on more medications or just try to get me a full-on hysterectomy, and I just knew what I had to do. It was just like breaking that or crossing that bridge between like knowing better and doing better, and like that's how strong the addiction is to those drug-like foods, those food-like drugs rather, because they're not. It's not food. Food is not
food-like drugs. That is monumental. Because that's
we were just saying this today. We were just saying that today.
It's drugs, and they cover it up with a food title on it. Because I'm serious, red dye. Why is that food? That's not food. You know what I mean? Literally, it's not food. Yep. So they created these things, and it's food. food like, no, really.
It's true.
Because they're calling it food, but it is not food. It is literally drugs, which is why we think we can't let it go.
Right,
we have to go,
right.
you know, like we're addicted. We literally have an addiction to the food.
Even if it's destroying us. Even if it's destroying us, we'll still go, listen, I could, you know.
Food like drugs. Oh,
that was cool. I wonder why it's called the Food and Drug Administration.
Come on, son. Come on, somebody.
They regulate the amount of drugs they put inside of the food, and we microdose on poisons for most of our life, and then eventually we end up with the accumulation of toxicity. So that's why I can't stand when people be like, "Oh, everything in moderation." It's like, what is moderation? Moderation is microdosing. You're microdosing, especially when your kidneys aren't filtering the way that they're supposed to, when your intestines are so clogged up with backed up feces that what you eat just kind of just accumulates on top of the other uneliminated waste that's sitting inside of your gut. Like, we should really be focusing and pivoting on when we're in our health journeys, like on what you're doing, like juice fasting, because it's a flush, it's a cleanse. It's about eliminating the old waste before we start worrying about what to put inside of us. People be like, well, what about your proteins? Or you're not getting enough nutrients. Your body can't even absorb the nutrients you're eating right now because your intestinal wall is so compacted with waste. So you can't even absorb those nutrients. Like, let's stop sitting here and acting like we care about our health all of a sudden when people go on health journeys.
And this Sunday, sister, you preaching.
Today is Sunday.
Oh.
So
I'm enjoying this. I'm just sitting enjoying this.
I preach a lot about this because you get so passionate about it because you do this, right? You go on this path, which is hard because you're detoxing, not only detoxing waste and toxins from your body, but it's also like a detox from drugs, just like how heroin addicts and crack addicts and stuff, where they have to go to a detox and they're dealing with withdrawal symptoms. We deal with those same withdrawal symptoms. We get angry, we get depressed, we get irritable. You know, we get all of these, we experience these things when we're like abstaining from the drugs that we're used to consuming, because like food is not addictive. Like, think about when you eat your salads and your fruit and stuff like that, your body will stop you. It'll signal like, okay, we're good, we're not hungry anymore. But when you're eating salt like has something to it where like doesn't allow your body to signal the stop. You just will eat until your stomach busts. It's like, oh, that was good. And it's like, now you know you can't fit nothing in there. And that's when you stop. So that's food. That's drugs, you know. So we got to stop calling pizza food. It ain't food. God, you can't, there's no pizza tree. Like, only God can make food.
There's no pizza tree. There's no pizza tree.
The last time I checked, there's
no pizza tree.
Where's the taco tree? You know, like, yeah, it tastes good, but it isn't food.
There's no impossible tree. There's no, oh my goodness.
Oh my God.
Only God can make food.
If it don't have a tree, don't eat it. Let me stop. No, that's crazy.
I mean, if you wanted to have that relationship, that synergy, because like the thing is, our bodies are not chemical processors. You know, it ain't meant to process chemicals all the time, and that's what we force our bodies to do.
That's right. That's right.
You know, like your pancreas produces all the enzymes that your body needs to break down the things that we consume. And there's different kinds of enzymes for the different types of food you eat. Like, if you have carbohydrates, you have the amylase enzyme, and the amylase enzyme is to break down carbohydrates. And in your tongue, when you eat and you salivate, your saliva is amylase. So that tells me that carbohydrates are our original food, because like fruits are high in carbohydrates. It's something that digests very quickly. So common sense says if it has like the most natural and easiest relationship with our bodies, that's what we're meant to eat, if we just want to think in terms of simplicity. So why is it that our saliva has amylase which is the digestive enzyme for carbohydrates, if we're not meant to consume primarily carbohydrates, which is what you would find in your fruits, your apples, and, you know, and things like that. So that's what we eat in abundance. That's our, what you would call species specific food. Like, I do believe we're frugivores, just biologically. That's what we were meant to consume for our bodies to operate the best, so that it's not processing chemicals all of the time. But that's what we force our bodies to do. And then you have lipase, which is another enzyme that comes from your pancreas, which is the fat digestive enzyme. It helps break down the fat in your body. And then you have protease, which is the digestive enzyme that your pancreas produces to break down protein. So it's like, these are the things, and digestive enzymes are important to break down what we consume. And the beauty about eating fruit specifically is fruit has digestive enzymes inside of it. So you're actually not forcing your pancreas to use the enzymes to break down the food. But when you're eating food that doesn't have its own digestive enzymes, you're forcing your pancreas to overwork itself.
Yeah.
Pancreatitis and all these issues, because you're forcing this organ to continuously become a chemical processor of things that really shouldn't be inside of it anyways. So that's why we eat what's for our bodies. Like you guys talked about, we were talking about skin before and how you're like glowing because of the fruit from the juicing and stuff. It's like, because it's natural hygiene. We're cleansing, we're from the inside. You don't stuff from the outside when you're doing what you're supposed to, putting inside of you what you're supposed to be consuming. Yeah. So like, I learned so much being on this health journey. Like, you read a lot. This is to help you stay motivated, for number one, because it's hard. Like, you're addicted to that stuff. And don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect. I still have my cycles of being really healthy and being raw vegan, and then let me get a little taste of something, and all of a sudden we go on a good 2 weeks trying to go to vegan restaurants in the city. And
before I ask you to finish telling your story, you said something that just stood out to me, and this is something I struggle with. And it's you said don't detox to retox. It's just like, this is before I'm working on myself. I would do a detox and then, you know, slip back into putting toxins back into my body. And it's like, and it's just like you said, you'll get a little like, oh, I'm doing good. Let me have a little, you know, and then suddenly, and that's like drugs. It's just like they say, when you do drugs, it's just like when someone relapses, it's like they go off into, you know, and you can't just, people who have an addiction to drugs can't just do one. And then, oh, you know what? That was cool. I just had some crack on Tuesday.
Right.
You know, it was fine. You know, no, literally, you go back. You know what I'm saying? You go back into it. But so that's to say, I'm going to get to the rest of your story. So you got the surgery and you got on Depo. They put you on hormone therapy. So now you were excited because finally you weren't bleeding anymore. So then what was your journey after that to lead you to the wellness lifestyle?
So that was my opportunity to actually get it together, because I told myself, number one, I read the insert on the Depo-Provera. It literally says that you should not consume it for more than 2 years, even though they were still trying to prescribe it to me for years and years and years and years. I read the insert and it said not to use it for more than 2 years because it can lead to osteoporosis, bone density loss, and like all of these things with continued use over time. So that was alarming to me, because I thought I had like the magic bullet, like, okay, yeah, I don't care. I'll just have these. I'll just turn the period off. I don't care. I don't want no babies, like whatever. But like now it's like, okay, it's obviously nothing. Pharmaceuticals, I'm not against using pharmaceuticals as a short-term thing.
Yes.
During extreme situations, while you are pivoting towards a lifestyle change. So like, I'm not anti conventional medicine in a sense. Like, I'm all for surgeon. Like, if I end up in a car accident or something, please get me to your best surgeon, revive me, stabilize me. Like, I respect y'all. But like, when it comes to preventative medicine, it's like, hopefully you're lucky enough to have like a medical practitioner that's going to tell you, you need to start making some serious lifestyle changes. Like, you have to start reducing the amount of animal protein that you consume more fruits and vegetables and exercise more. And it's not, you know, like they tell you that. And it's not like everybody just follows their advice. But they also don't put a lot of emphasis on it. And it's always just about writing a prescription for a drug. And I'm not against using drugs temporarily. So like you can use them temporarily while you start your lifestyle change. So basically from that point on, I started my lifestyle change. That's when I started pivoting into the raw veganism, because even though the periods had stopped because I was on Depo, I had other symptoms that were still pretty alarming, that I just wasn't conscious or wasn't like intentional about reversing. And that was more alarming to me, because it was like when you can't breathe that good, like let's not even talk about food. Like, yeah, food is a necessity. We need food, but the first food we need is oxygen. We need air. And if you can't breathe, you can't eat, you can't nothing.
Right. Yeah.
So when my breathing was compromised, I had to, like, nothing will scare you into doing the right thing. And like, it's unfortunate that I didn't love myself enough to make the change because I loved myself. I only made the change based on fear. It was a fear-based decision instead of a love-based decision. However, what started off as like a fear journey became a self-love journey.
Start switching. That's right.
Because like as you cleanse, you become more clear. There's more clarity. There's more, like, you're more in tune with your body.
Yes.
You listen to it more. Like you are more in tune with yourself. Like it really connects you with yourself, because eating that, like doing juice fasting, water fasting, any kind of fasting, fruit feasting, if you're doing like all fruits, whatever it is, it's shadow work, because you literally have to, you're battling yourself every single day.
Yes.
That part that's addicted to those things that you want to eat. And then we all think it's just addiction, but a lot of it is also emotional. We want to run away from the pain. We don't want, it's like you're fasting your body, but we are always trying to feed our emotions. We have to learn how to fast the emotions too. Like, don't feed the emotion. People feel like they always got to do something about feeling a certain kind of way. How about just sitting with that? And
yes.
Like the body heals, right? So like we give all the credit to the food, and like, yes, because when you put what's supposed to be inside of you, you're not working against your body, but ultimately it's the body that heals itself.
100%.
Because like if you cut yourself on the outside, you're going to bleed, but eventually it's going to clot, it's going to scab up, and it's going to regenerate. Our body's regenerative. So what makes you think that happens on the outside and not on the inside?
That's right.
Is you allow your body to heal by not getting in the way. You don't do degenerative things while it's actively regenerating. We're always healing. We're in a healing state right now. When you're not digesting, you're healing. But as soon as you put something inside of you, you know, your body's energy is just being used towards processing whatever it is that you consume.
That's right. That's right.
So like, it's the same thing with emotions, right? When we're going through it emotionally, we feel those emotions, and when we feel them, we want to suppress them, and we suppress them by feeding them. We either smoke, we drink, we eat, we have sex, we do something so that we don't have to sit with the emotion. But how about starving the emotion and just letting it sit there and facing it and kind of having that breakdown? Because with every breakdown, there's a breakthrough. So like I learned so much about like starving the body, so to speak, allowing it to heal, but you allow your emotions to heal too. Emotions are regenerative. Like they regenerate too, but you have to allow it to just be. You can't feed it.
Right. Right.
That's a word, honey.
You suppress it when you feed it, but when you let it go, it comes up and then it comes out, and then we can move forward in life.
Yeah.
So that's, I learned like this health journey. So like, to get back to your original question, I'll always be going on tangents.
No, but you're right on point though. That's why I'm loving this. Go ahead.
Thank you.
She got it.
Yes.
So started my health journey. I started off with a 7-day juice fast. so there was like some girl I followed on Facebook a while ago. I think her name was like Brittany Sade or something like that. She had like a 7-day juice fast ebook. And I was just like, the time is now, because I was dealing with the respiratory issues. And then it was like right around the time of the pandemic. And, you know, I was like, I already have compromised respiratory health. So this is the time to really start focusing on my health, because I don't know what this is. I don't know. Like, I just want to start my health journey at this point. So I started with a 7-day juice fast. And then after that, there was this app that I came across on, it was called, I think the lady's name was Laura Jane. It was called the Rawtarian. And it was just like thousands of raw vegan recipes on the app. Oh, so wow. I was like $21 a month or something like that. And I used that to transition into basically becoming a raw vegan. Like, I was actually really consistent with it, like not even eating any cooked foods or anything for like about a good 3 months, just trying all her different recipes. And because I was just like really committed to like feeling better in my body. Like, it was like a true health journey. It wasn't a weight loss journey. It wasn't like, I just really wanted to start feeling better in my body. So I did whatever I felt like was necessary. But then honestly, like, the raw vegan foods and stuff were cool, but I didn't see the biggest transformation came for me after I did a 30-day all fruit feast. I don't know if you ever heard of Orville Douglas, but Orville Douglas, he's like a 60-plus-year-old, 60-year-old. He's been a fruitarian for over 10 years. He's based in New York City. And, you know, he's phenomenal. He runs these bi-monthly fruit feast challenges, and it's just based on his lifestyle. And I joined that challenge, and the biggest transformation I felt in my health is when I did nothing but fruit for 30 days. So it was all high water fruit, and I literally lost like 28 to 30 pounds in that month. It was like a pound a day just coming.
So what's water fruit? Like, what is that?
Like watermelon?
Like watermelon, apples, mangoes, just something that has like a high percentage of water more than anything else inside of it. So like a banana wouldn't be considered a high water fruit, but just like anything that's just like a really juicy fruit. So like as mentioned, like apples, grapes, watermelon, mangoes, you know, just like all those like super high water fruits. And that's when my blood pressure went from being super high, like I was hypertensive, to it like being ideal for the first time in like over a decade. I lost all this extra waste that was in my body, like using the bathroom like 3-4 times in a day. Like, couldn't believe just like how, because like even though like being raw vegan was cool, I still did a lot of like nut-based recipes. So that's nuts can be kind of constipating, especially if your body's not cleansed. Again, it's about eliminating waste before adding the good stuff in, because you want it to where your body can actually absorb all of those foods. So it's about cleansing the gut first, and then you worry about your nutrient balance and, you know, all that good stuff. So those fruits, they were nourishing. So you're still being fed on a cellular level, but you're also cleansing a whole bunch of like compacted waste that's just been sitting in the stomach, uneliminated, festering away, like breeding disease and like the bad bacteria. So when I did that, that's when like I was able to lose a lot of weight that I've still been able to kind of like maintain and keep off. I didn't know whether or not my endometriosis was healed until after the Depo-Provera wore off, because I started my journey on the Depo. So at first I'm thinking like, oh, I'm healed because all these other things I was dealing with in my body was healed. But there was still some sensitivity to like, so after I stopped doing the Depo, every time I'm like pretty high fruit, like when like 70% of what I consume is fruit, I have like the perfect menstrual cycles. But don't let me add any kind of processed food in my diet. It still gets a little, you know, like symptoms can try to sneak back in, but it's not anything like
what it used to be. Not even close. Yeah, not even. Got
So
it.
as long as I'm like pretty much raw vegan or high fruit, like perfect reproductive like periods, they're short, they're light, no pain. Like I haven't had pain during a menstrual cycle in a minute, and I'm so grateful for that. Like it just doesn't exist anymore. I didn't think that was possible, at one point in my life. But yeah, so this
And
lifestyle is
all of this so far after the fruit cleanse.
yes, after the fruit cleanse and after maintaining eating fruit-based diet or lifestyle.
Got it.
But you did so in terms of your journey after 7 days juice cleanse, you went raw vegan. You started to see some changes, especially in your breathing and in any respiratory. And then as the depot wore off, you then did a fruit cleanse for 30 days, which is just high water fruits. And then after that, during that process, you saw waste and things come out of your body. And after that is when you started to really see even more of the changes in terms of your healing journey.
Yeah. So my body was healing on the raw vegan diet, which was like just more veggies and things of that sort. But it was just healing slower. But it healed a lot faster when I went on the fruits. And my rationale for that is that veggies and stuff, they're good for you, but they still take longer to digest compared to fruit. Like a high water fruit takes 20 minutes to digest, and the healing happens when the body's not digesting. So it's like you're going into a fasted state after you're eating fruit within minutes versus
right, I get it.
The body's healing while it's fasting. It's not necessarily the food. It's just you're putting something inside of you that's not working against your body. So it's just nourishing your body, but the water and the hydration that's inside of the fruit starting to loosen up the old dried compacted waste, and then the fiber is starting to sweep it. So it's actually a beautiful relationship when you can get a good balance of like eating fruit throughout the day and then having like your cruciferous vegetables a little bit later, because it's like a broom that sweeps with the hydration.
Ooh, yes.
This is great.
Yes, that's what I think. I did a 17-day water fast where I had a fibroid fallout in the toilet. And that's the thing. It's just like the juice fasting did work. And I was only eating vegan in between. The juice fasting worked. But the fastest, like during day 8 of the water fast, the fibroid fell out in the toilet. And it's because it's just like you say, which I never thought before. We always say healing happens in the fasting. Like it's about what you're not eating and not putting in your body. Because sometimes, people be like, exactly what should I? And it's about what you're not eating. It's that fasting part. But the fact that you said the healing happens when your body is not digesting. And that's another reason why fasting is so powerful.
It's regenerative because our body is it's a self-healing mechanism. We're actually very beautifully made. We have taken all of our power away from ourselves, but we are so physically powerful as human beings.
Yes.
But we have given that power up because we believe in doctors and white coats. And like we look outside of us for everything when everything is inside. We have everything we need. Our bodies are perfect as they are. We just have to stop infringing on our bodies. Like the encumbrances are our addictions. So it's like getting those addictions in check and like being in control. It's literally like your higher self versus your physical self, and like really just like learning how not to always cave into the desires of your flesh. And it's like being that higher version of yourself. That's like, it's like reparenting yourself, like telling that child inside of you, no, you cannot have that because, we have a bigger vision for the future. And there's instant gratification and there's a delayed gratification. The delayed gratification means that we're more physically stronger. We're more spiritually stronger because we have the confidence now that we nurtured over time by having discipline. We definitely feel so much better about ourselves when we conquer a goal of ours, or we do something we say we're going to do, especially if it's hard. And there's nothing harder than walking outside and smelling all these restaurants and and then still like having the fortitude, the mental fortitude and the strength to say no. That's that reparenting that we have to do. Like, no, you cannot have that. It's not good for you. It's like when your kid wants a lollipop for breakfast. You're not going to let them have a lollipop. So we have to think of like ourselves as like kids sometimes when we want to have like that pizza that's in front of it. So it's like saying no, you know, but.
I mean, we were conditioned.
We all been conditioned.
We've all been conditioned since the time we were kids.
And it's like I always say
to think the way.
So now, I always say when you're juicing, it's just like I think I heard you say before, we're all living in the matrix. Meaning when you're juicing, like when we did our 60-day juice fast, when we were driving, it's like all of the signs got louder. The pancake sign, the burger sign. It's like I was like, oh no, the world is crazy. Like, why is it? Because it's like you see it before. That's why you want it without knowing it subconsciously. But when you're cleansing, it's like you see it more.
Right.
And it's like you realize we're all, that's why channels like Your Voice is important. Jillian's channel is important because we have to like intentionally condition ourselves with these stories or we will be caught in the, you know what I mean?
Well, it's like we're going against the tide.
It's like you're going against the tide.
It's like you're going against the tide to do what we're naturally supposed to do.
Yes.
You know?
I know. We've literally been conditioned. It's like, it's like our brain is an operating system.
Right.
And the system done already put the things inside of us. Like as soon as we come out the womb, they poking us with vaccinations and stuff.
Yes.
So it's like already like, they take our bodily autonomy away from us just as infants. And then now you are being conditioned by your family. So you eat how they eat.
Yes.
And, you know, so it's just, then the
food chart is still the same. Our kids are 5 and 6. The food chart
they're learning
that
about
we had as kids.
They're learning about it right now.
Our kids are vegan and we have to get them on more less processed vegan. We're working on it. But our kids are vegan. But even like, that, there's still the rarity in their school. There's no one else vegan in their entire school.
In the whole school.
Some of the teachers are like, what? Oh, I got veggie pizza. Yeah, but it's cheese, man.
Yeah, we go through that a lot. A lot of the teachers don't know what veganism is.
Like
they have no clue.
They're not vegan. They don't know what it is. That's the part.
Even when we tell them, even when we write it down, they still go, "Can they eat Cheez-Its?"
I don't know what else to say.
You know, like it's tough.
It's tough.
But
it's a big part of why I don't want kids. Because I was a conspiracy theorist really early on in life. And I was like, I can't bring kids here. Because I'm gonna be that crazy ass. Sorry, I'm gonna be that crazy mother.
we get crazy sometimes.
Yeah, that's
like I'm gonna be that crazy mother. You know, like I'm gonna be that mother in the hospital. Like, no vaccinations. No, I'm gonna be fighting with them. That's you know, like
that's us.
Oh yes.
You know, it's like always gonna be a battle, and then you know it's gonna be the food because I'm gonna be like my mother. I love her to death, but like I have nieces and stuff. She has so much junk food at her house that they eat the snacks and stuff, and I just be sitting here like, you're gonna have to take me to court for grandparent rights because my child will not be.
Well, let me tell you, did our parents learn?
Yeah, they learned.
So at first they tried little stuff and they made mistakes, and he was the one.
Now I was really.
He was very happy. He was like,
vegan,
But then your parents start to learn through you.
Yeah.
So it's just like our parents start to learn through us, and then our kids now watching them have voices as kids is very interesting. Is that vegan? No, that's not healthy for you. So little stuff like that, you're just like, oh my God.
I think our parents saw how much we fought for it.
Yes.
You know, it was like, no, listen, they can't have that.
They're not having that.
They're not having
We've been through the battle. We're not putting them through the battle. We've been through the battle.
We're doing all this work. We can't have y'all feed our kids meat. Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Yeah, because you get them addicted to that stuff, and like I see how these kids are like unruly when they cannot have their drugs. You know, like
yes, I know. That's why I'm cool. What you said is powerful. It is drugs. They call it food, but it is drugs. It is drugs. But stop. We're talking. Let me ask you a question because we have some questions here. Somebody asked. Also, guys, just to let you know, after this, we'll teach you about raw vegan foods. We have a raw vegan cookbook on the website by Kristen Shea. Hello. When the adults can't get the drugs. I was a little angry today on day 7. I was about to curse a kid out in my house. Okay. But
I actually feel great.
I know you feel good, but you were feeling better. Sean was feeling.
I was sick.
He was sick
this whole week.
But remember we have a raw vegan cookbook on the website. But all right. Can you tell them what is your lifestyle now And how do you maintain your lifestyle? Like, what does a day look like eating for you?
So I've actually relaxed my lifestyle choices a lot. So like before I was like super hardcore, like I need to be 100% raw, but that was because like I was just battling these health issues. So I just tried so hard to like stick to it, even though I wasn't even perfect then. I'd still kind of have like those relapses, so to speak, and then go through those cycles. Like so Bobby, he has fruit up till 5. His
fruit up. Love
Bobby. I'd like joined. Actually, I've kind of been doing that already. So for me, it's just about, because I needed that mental balance. Like trying to be 100% of anything when you are still battling the addiction to the drugs, because I will not call it food. It does something to you mentally, you know, like, so like you have to find your healthy balance. So I'm still trying to figure out my balance within the balance. But what has been working for me and keeping me consistent on making sure that I am doing the right thing every day is I consume nothing but fruit for the first half of the day up until about 4 p.m. or so. I'll have nothing but fruit or juices and smoothies. So I just make sure that to begin my day, I am eating the highest vibrational foods. But
that's really good. I want to do that. I want to do that.
Yeah, it's the easiest thing to maintain. And then like, if I want savory, if I want grounding, if I want, you know, I'll still do like a whole food, plant-based cooked meal during the evening. You know what I mean? So it's like you get that comfort and like that ground, that warmth, that thing that you need. It keeps you from going crazy and feeling like, because like it actually made me really depressed. Like, because I'm an extremist. Like it's either I'm like very type A, like either I got to be perfect or I'm not going to really do it at all.
Right.
And so I was going from these extremes of like being like really disciplined and all fruit or all raw. And then all of a sudden, like I'll like want to treat myself one day. And then all of a sudden I am completely, I don't even want to look at fruit. I don't want to eat a salad. I just want the burrito from Chipotle. And I want, you know, like.
Thank you for making me not feel alone.
That's our spot. Chipotle? That's our spot. Oh, that person.
So it's like I had to find my balance. I had to start allowing myself to be more flexible. And that, because what I was learning is that I was becoming so unhappy because of the hard restrictions that I was putting on myself, that it was affecting my mental health to the point that I actually got really depressed. Like I was like obsessed with food. Like I didn't have an eating disorder, but I had disordered eating thinking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
You know, like it's like you're constantly always like, I'd be afraid to eat cooked food. Like I'd be eating something cooked and I'd be like, oh, this isn't good for me. It doesn't have enzymes. It is, you know, like I'm in my brain, in my head about it. And it was making me, the thought of something not being good for you, like our bodies are very intelligent. Our cells hear everything that we say. So if we're saying something and we believe it, even if that food, it's better to eat something with reverence. It's better to eat something with gratitude, regardless of whether it's so-called good or bad for you, because it's not going to be a bad physical experience. But if you're eating something while believing it's not good for you, you're going to create more disease in your body. And that is what started happening to me again. I started manifesting certain symptoms again, even though I was still mostly eating healthy. And it was because of the mental. So I learned that this is more important even than what you put inside of your body. Let me tell you that right now, because if you are not okay up here, it doesn't matter if you juice fast, and it doesn't matter if you're eating all raw. It doesn't matter if you're eating fruit. You have to feel good about what you're doing for yourself. Otherwise, something you're doing that's good for you can become a very toxic experience very fast, and it's going to lead you to making the worst choices all over again. And then you're going to end up back in that rabbit hole because now you're going to start trying to numb those negative thoughts and feelings with bad food again. You're not going to want to go and eat fruit when you're in a poor emotional state.
That's right.
I had to learn my balance and not be so extreme. So now I'm like so much more lenient with myself. I give myself so much more grace. And let me tell you, now that my mental health is so much better, Like, I feel really good. Like, so at home, I live alone, so I eat the best when I'm at home. But if I want to be like, now I have like a social life again, like, because I've allowed myself to be more flexible. So now I'm like building friendships and sisterhoods, and we're going out to eat, and I'm allowing myself to have whatever's on the menu, like plant-based options, and eating it and enjoying that connection with somebody. Because life, there is so much more to health than just what you put in your body.
That's right.
What you put in your mind. Yeah, it's everything. It's your spirit, it's your mental, it's your relationships, it's the quality of everything that is a part of you as a human being. You know, like the food is the foundation, like definitely it's very important, but it's more than just food. It's about the quality of our friendships, our relationships, the community we have around us, like how we're contributing, having a passion, like a purpose in life. Like it's everything. It's what you think, how you feel, because I do believe, because like obviously there's like that psychosomatic relationship when it comes to just things that can happen that could affect you physically. Like think about if you're not used to being in front of a crowd, and now you're about to go and do a TED talk, and you're nervous as heck, and you're sweating, now all of a sudden you're nauseous, you got to throw up before the show. Like that's just emotions that's creating that physical thing. It's not something you put inside of you. So what goes on in your mind has an impact on your physical being.
That's right.
You have to be very careful with our minds. We have to be like, our minds are our babies, and we have to live inside of it. So it's like, don't drive yourself crazy trying to be perfect. And now I just live on this philosophy of progress over perfection. Just always just try to do better. Don't try to be perfect. Just, be better. You don't have to have like the perfect health journey. You don't have to be, people think they have to be like 100% raw vegan or 100% fruitarian or 100% of anything. Like, yes, do it in cycles. Anybody can do anything for 30 days. Do a 30-day cleanse, and like that can be your maintenance, but have a general overall healthy lifestyle.
Wow, that's right. That's right.
Every day, for the most part, but have your balance. Like if you want to go out with your friends and you want to have like that one day where you just want to have some vegan cheat meal or whatever, and it's social and you can control yourself, then have that. If that means that gets to contribute towards healthy relationships in your life, and you get to still feel a part of things and not have like that FOMO. Like I spent years isolating myself, not going out to family and this and that, because I didn't want to be around it, because I was afraid that I didn't trust myself enough around the food, and I didn't trust myself. So it's just like, but you have to find your balance. Don't create this green prison in your head, like
prison. The words, honey.
You better preach.
Somebody asked the question.
With this masterclass we have. I'm
turning it off. Like, wait, where's my pen? I'm gonna watch this over and write my notes.
I usually have a lot to say. I'm sitting there like, this is good. This is it.
Someone asked, and I'll answer for us as well. Did you take supplements during your fruit feast? And for us, during the 60-day juice cleanse, we take no supplements. During the Jump and Juice 10,000, there is no supplements. But during your fruit feast and your journey, were you taking any supplements?
No. Again, supplements. What is good is a supplement? When you have a gut filled with waste that can't absorb the isolated nutrient anyway. Like we always think we got to do all these extra things, but we need a cleanse. Like you just adding more stuff into it that when we trying to cleanse. So if you're talking about like a hard supplement, however, like now I do herbs, like I do drink herbs now. I think they're very powerful healing
herbs.
So I do heals, especially
what kind of herbs do you take?
I do the ones that target my reproductive health, and I do blood cleansing herbs. So like burdock root, yellow dog, nettle, red raspberry leaf, things that's just good for maintaining good respiratory health and just blood cleansing in general. I try my best to be consistent with them. I'm mostly consistent with them. But yeah, I do herbs. But when you're cleansing, it is like it's a temporary cleanse. Like, are you doing supplements when you're eating Impossible Whoppers? Are you doing Are you doing supplements when you like going to the cookouts and you eating hot dogs and barbecue chicken and burgers? Y'all like stop. Just like, and I'm not saying that to the person.
No, I know exactly
like,
what you're saying.
In general, like we always feel like we have to like supplement something that's good for us, but we don't have that same mentality when it comes to like how we live otherwise, because people really believe they get everything they need because it's meat. Like think that because it's meat, you're getting all the nutrients you need. But like it seems like people have too much protein in their diet, and that's why they're ending up in the hospital, because they're always questioning protein. But what happens when they do a urine sample and they have concerns and they need to do more testing? Oh, there was too much protein in your urine. So it wasn't a lack of protein that made them want to take more tests. It was too much protein.
It was too much protein.
It's almost never
you could be drinking a juice and someone would say, "Oh, that got a little sugar in it." But if I'm eating the cake,
right,
or the Krispy Kreme, nobody is concerned.
That's why I'm glad. That's why I'm glad you said you did a fruit cleanse for 30 days, because we had a lot of people today talking about. I hear you're not supposed to juice with a lot of fruits, because a lot of people think, number one, when you juice, that your juice should be nasty. It should be full of veggies and no fruits at all. It should just be gross.
They ready to go.
Right? They're like, because fruits, we can't ingest all of that sugar, and of course we always tell them, natural sugars. Yes. Your body could digest it. So I'm glad you said you did 30 days of just fruits.
Just fruit.
Correct?
Yes, and it's literally what our bodies are designed to consume. Everything that we eat gets broken down into a simple sugar. Our body cannot utilize anything until it becomes a simple sugar. That's the beauty about fruit is when you eat fruit, it makes your body actually go through the least amount of processing in order to absorb it. So when you eat a fruit, it diffuses directly into the blood cell, because the sugar just has a symbiotic relationship with our blood cells, with our cells, like it just does. Like for me, simplicity is an indicator of how we should live. So like if God said, okay, you eat this, it's just gonna go into your blood cell. We will bypass the pancreas. You will not have to create insulin, because insulin it's like a key that transports the sugar into the blood cell when you're eating like glucose-based food. So like if you're having like veggies, like a carrot, for example, the glucose in the carrot will not diffuse directly into the blood cell. It will require your pancreas to produce the insulin, and the insulin is a key that gets the sugar into the blood cell. But when you eat fruit, like an apple, for example, it literally just it diffuses directly into the blood cell. There is no extra work required. So people always talk about insulin resistance, but you literally don't have to resist the insulin, because the insulin doesn't have to be produced when you eat fruit. So if your body requires less energy to absorb it, then that tells me that's what we're meant to consume. We think everything got to be a complex process.
It's not.
And it's not. But fruits and stuff are a monosaccharide. One. It's a very simple process. It's when you get into those polysaccharides and like where it's like just more chemical processes involved, where it's going to require your body to work a bit harder in order to absorb. So for me, the simpler it is for your body to absorb, it's probably what you're more than likely are supposed to eat. I highly doubt God made us, everything got to be difficult for us. Like it just don't make no sense.
But I like what you said, and I need to put this up on my wall. God is the only one that can make food. Everything else is a drug. God is the only one that can make food. That is
that's it.
I don't know if it was for anybody else, but that's a word for me today. All right, I'm writing that down. Might put it up. I need to write that down. God is the only one that can create food. So everything else you put in your mouth that's not from Him, it ain't food.
I gotta tell you,
it's a drug. What did you say? Covered up as food.
Yeah, it's like a food-like drug. It's like
food. Like, give me a pen.
If you gotta make it in a chemical processing plant, It ain't food, you know. It is plant-based. It's based from a chemical manufacturing plant.
Food. Did I write that down? Y'all need the Jumping Juice 10 journal. Hello. Food like drug. See, I gotta get my kids. I am getting them to eat more fruit. That's what they are eating more fruit. But it's hard, man. It's hard.
Man, you're teaching up here, man. Let's get some questions.
Let's get some questions.
Oh, I mean,
any questions?
This is good.
Any questions? I'm forgetting my questions.
I know. I'm just listening. This is
listening.
great. This is good stuff.
Don't detox to retox. Hello. Only God can make food.
Sometimes you don't need us.
Everything else, we doing this with it. But only God made food. We doing this, calling the drugs food. That's it.
It's like food will make you tired. Food's supposed to give you energy. But when you eat and you like, oh, I got the itis, that wasn't food. That was comforting, like, yeah, but like you're not supposed to get tired from your food. Your food's supposed to give you energy. The reason why it give you itis, because now your body's using 80% of its energy to break it down.
To break the food down. That's right.
And my husband said something, both of y'all said, you said something similar. He said food is like slow food poisoning, which is why you eventually get sick. But you said something very good too, is microdosing of the drug. It's microdosing. That is
so when people say eating in everything in moderation, I literally think to myself, unless your kidneys are working in tip-top shape and your lymphatic fluids are actual fluids and not stagnated mucus, and if your intestines aren't all blocked up with old impacted waste and you're really just constipated and you haven't eliminated everything in your colon, whatever you eat is just going to sit on top of your last couple of years of meals that have been improperly digested or undigested rather. So you're microdosing on drugs. And that's why eventually once you hit like that 40, 50-year-old mark, and that's when you're going into the hospital with symptoms. And then the doctor's like, oh, well, this is really normal for women your age. Yeah, when you live in a toxic society. And
you've been drugging.
Right.
Yeah, and you've been microdosing on drugs. So now it's an accumulation of those toxins that you've been eating in moderation over the years, finally catching up to you. Now your body cannot keep up with the level of toxicity. And it's so simple. All you have to do is detoxify. I feel like simple. You go to a hospital, if they just gave you a colon cleanse, it would give people some relief.
Yeah.
Because it's literally all the disease starts in the gut. In the gut, that's right. And that's where like 80% of our immune system is, they say. So like our immune system is our lymphatic system. So all those that lymphatic vessel, they say 80% of that starts in the stomach. So it's like if you're compacted and you've got all this waste and all this fat and all this stuff that's just like crowded around your stomach, you're going to have a bunch of like that. You're going to have like that stagnant lymph. You're gonna be built up with toxins that are just sitting inside of you, and your body has to go through the cleansing process in order for your kidneys to function properly. And people are always like, oh, when people try to sound smart, they be like, oh, you're so stupid, that's what the kidneys are for. Okay, so how do people end up with kidney disease if that's what the kidneys are for? The kidneys so you don't have to cleanse. People literally think that cleansing is like a myth, like it's something that can be debunked. And we're so out of touch with our bodies that we think that we can just treat it like a dumpster and nothing will happen. Nothing at all. No, it's true. Diseases are happenstance. They just came from nowhere. They're just it's hereditary. It's hereditary. Bad luck. Nobody that's how addicted we are to the drugs that we don't want it to be the blame and the cause of our current position in life, like physically, our ailments. And it's like we are what we eat, and that's common sense. You know, like if you have a clear glass of water and you take some dye and you put it in the water, change the color of the water, why do you think you can drink soda and it's not going to change the chemical process in your body, like your blood? Like, why would you think that you can put something inside of a water-based human being
and just nothing happens?
Through osmosis, it just, we poop it out. even though we got a gut. So clearly you're not even pooping properly. You're not eliminating the way you're supposed to. So we're just so out of touch with how we're designed. And we got to get back to the basics of just having some common sense and knowing how to listen to ourselves when we consume things. And I think it's completely okay to have your fun food in genuine moderation. Moderation to me is maybe like a handful of times a year. You know, but they think moderation, like everybody who say moderation be lying. It's like you like that every day.
Wait, it's me with coffee. Wait, and then this is a confession. After the 6th day, I was off of coffee. I was like, go, Michelle, right? Then I was like, I'm gonna just have it on the weekends. I'm gonna just have coffee on the weekends. And then somehow it was Monday, and then it was Tuesday, and then it was Wednesday, and then it was like, wait, where's my coffee? And then I needed it maybe twice in a day. Meaning it's just like, I don't know if I'm lying to myself or if it's the drugs, both at the same time are probably true. It's just that I don't know, and I really want to know if this is true. Is moderation on the weekend? Like, can you have coffee on the weekends? I don't know if you can. I think Monday will slip up and you will need it again and need it again and need it again. And it won't
have self-control. Yeah. If you have self-control and you can do it every other weekend, then that's moderation. And it is moderation because you used to do it every day. And it's about being better, not perfect.
Not perfect.
That's right.
Progress over perfection. So we don't always have to like go cold turkey, because that's how you end up going back on the opposite spectrum of every day. But if you allow yourself to have it on the weekends and you have that self-control, then I think that's better than drinking it every day, because it's a reduction of that habit versus, just like I always tell people with food, there's no such thing as really good or bad food. There's just like, it's like the law of polarity. It's just one pole. There's just different sides of the pole, and it's a frequency. So it's like just based on the frequency of the food. It's not good or bad. Like, it's just the frequency of it. But you just have to be in control of the frequency of what you put inside of you. Because I feel like when you put the negative meaning or attachment to it, you almost want it more. So when you start telling yourself, this isn't bad for me, it's just what I want to do and I'm going to do it. I've noticed that once I started allowing myself to eat certain things and do certain things, I didn't even want it, because I took the power out of it. We just want things we can't have. Like, so we tell ourselves we can't have it. All of a sudden, we feel like we got to get it out of our system a few times so that we can hard reset. And
that's right. That's absolutely, that's us.
That is us. Before this cleanse, I had to get a little bad in there before we start.
Anytime we do a cleanse, we eat everything that we think we're gonna want on the cleanse. We go, let's eat this.
Because this is short for, this is only 10 days, right? Because we've done, long-term juice, so 10 days really goes by quick for us. But it's just like, why and we both do it. He'd be like, it'll be 11:50. Let me go get something.
Because we'll do whatever it takes not to quit. I'm not gonna quit. So I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
But we're extremists too. So we are extremists. When we say we're committed, we are committed.
That's it.
We do not cheat on cleanses.
That's it. We're locked in.
When we're doing 30 days,
that's it.
There's no cheating. But when we're eating, then we might be eating too much. So it's that learning how to, like you said, find, you know what I'm saying? And that's where we are on our journey specifically. And learning how to find that balance and stop being so
balance within the balance. I feel
right,
because it's like it's gonna be hard always. Like, the balance within the balance is like really trying to figure out like your true north. Like, this is what I do, but like the balance within the balance is still allowing yourself like that flexibility, allowing yourself to just enjoy, because life is still short. Like we live in the matrix. Like, you can't tell yourself no. Like, I could be doing the most to be the healthiest person in the world, and then end up having a ladder drop on my head, and then I just die from a freak accident. And then it's just like, so like, I'm not going to do all that work and yes. Like, it's just, like, I'm done. Listen, this is what life is about. Life is about strengthening the spirit. We all going to die. Period. We have to make peace with the fact that we're not here forever. We have an expiration date. We don't know when it's going to be, but it's going to be. Yeah. So we have to realize that we're here to strengthen our spirits. So we're just here to evolve on a spiritual level so that we can ascend to wherever it is we're going to go to after we die. Because one thing is, a body dies, but the spirit doesn't. So we're going to transfer somewhere else, but I don't want to transfer somewhere else still battling and struggling the same karmic cycles and lessons that I couldn't overcome here in this earth cycle. So I just look at Earth as a university. Life is a game. We need to have fun. We are an avatar. That's all I don't care about. Nobody say I wear my hair how I want to wear it. I style myself.
Yeah.
Life is life, and you do what makes you happy. And at the same time, as long as you're not hurting anybody, as long as you're not harming anybody, but it is about always being a better version of ourselves. So we're here to sharpen our spirits and overcoming. Being on this journey, we're sharpening our spirits because we're clearing our bodies. We're getting closer to our spirits. We can feel ourselves more. We're more in tune with ourselves. We can live with purpose more. We can actually receive those cosmic codes because, we are what we eat. So when you're eating from God, when you're eating the seed, the water, the sun, we're light beings. We have an electromagnetic system. Like our whole nervous system is electricity, and that food is electricity. So when we eat an apple and we eat mangoes, that was all an electro process for it to even be made. So we're eating the light. We are the light. Like, we need to be more concerned about eating those light foods because that's what our bodies were designed to consume. So we need to just be focused on being we have an electromagnetic, what do they say? The electromagnetic, like our auras, you can feel people's energy. Somebody could walk in a room and brighten it up because their spirit, or they can bring it right on down. So energy, we're energetic beings. So the food that we eat is energy. It's either going to increase our light, or it's going to, bring us down, so to speak. So I just feel like when we eat what comes from the earth, we cleanse our bodies, we sharpen our spirits. Like that food, it programs us on a genetic level, so to speak. So like, it's just about eating what our bodies are designed to eat so that we can just kind of like be guided, so to speak, in a better way, be more intuitive, live with more purpose. And like, it all works together. It literally does. But we can't be our highest selves when we're always eating like chemically processed foods, when we're eating things that man-made, especially when the man made it for profit and they don't care about our health and they don't care about if anything, it's almost like this conspiracy of all these industries working together to make us sick so that they can continuously profit on us until so it's like, with that knowledge, like, why work against ourselves? Why be counterproductive in that sense? Like, we know that they put in poisons in the food. Like, people will be like, I know they poisoning everything we eat, and why they eating some Doritos. And it's just like, okay, so you are aware of that while you eating it. I know, man, I'm trying.
It's a process for those who eat Doritos. It's a process, okay? Be better today than you were yesterday.
It is. You know what? Progress over, like, if it's your go-to snack, just reduce it. Like, you don't gotta give it up. You wean yourself, but that's how you know it's drugs, because you gotta wean yourself off of drugs.
Wean yourself off of it. No, I hear you.
You know it's drugs, because even when we talked to Bobby before, when you go through it, it's just like you said, fascia emotions. When you go through it, you might have a time where emotionally you may literally have a detox moment. Like, the movies where you see the drug addict, they have to go through that process where they're on the floor and then you get to the other side, but you have to go through it. Like, you can't do more drugs to stop that. You have to go through that process. But could be crying. You know what I'm saying? You have to go through that. You have to go through the process.
You have to go through it. Like, you literally do. You have to, like, what do they say? You have to go through it to grow through it, or to get to it.
Go through it.
You can't get to nowhere without going through it first, So we really have to get through it. We have to be okay with feeling it, our emotions. And it's hard. It's hard. We don't realize just how much we suppress our emotions with things that we put in our bodies.
That's very true.
That's very true.
That's very true.
So we were asking, guys, you can write your questions now if they're.
So I got to get rid of oxtails and peas and rice and
Oh boy, that was so hard. I love me some Jamaican food.
Oxtails was his thing.
Oxtail, beans and rice with gravy.
There we go.
Ooh, gravy on the rice.
Curry goat was mine. Curry goat was
Lord have
mine.
mercy.
This was oxtails.
Curry goat was mine too. I love oxtails too. I can't even hold you. Curry chicken, curry anything. I was just talking about food today.
Oh my God.
Oh Jesus.
Somebody said
God is the originator. Oh, God is the originator. Man is the duplicate.
What helps with inflammation? Do you know?
Oh.
What helps?
I know, but I just gotta.
Yes.
The inflammation. So if you have inflammation, that means you're putting inflammatory things inside of your body. So what helps with inflammation is to stop eating inflammatory foods and stop drinking inflammatory drinks. Because what is the little word in inflammation? Flame, fire. So that's acid. You're eating a lot of acid things, or you're drinking a lot of acid things. So you have to start eating more, I guess, alkaline, just more like neutral foods that your body was designed to eat. So what helps with inflammation is to stop consuming inflammatory things.
That's
so
it.
you
God's food.
Yeah.
So what helps with it is just eating more natural foods, eating more fruits, eating more vegetables, less meat.
I know you're doing this juice cleanse. A juice cleanse 1 million zillion gazillion 100,000% will help with inflammation.
Yes.
That is period.
The first thing you do is get rid of dairy immediately. Like immediately.
Today, don't touch it.
Not I like starting now.
Don't touch dairy.
Don't even touch it.
But literally a juice cleanse that's a good way to start. It's definitely a good way to start, especially with a group. So you have the support, you have the ebook, you're not alone. So doing the juice cleanse with us is 100% a great start. And then raw vegan, which we have a cookbook after, we're going to be leading people in that journey. And then just like she said, not eating inflammatory foods. Can she please repeat the name of the fruitarian?
Orville Douglas.
Orville Douglas. Yeah.
I heard his name.
ORVELDOUGLAS.
I bet we saw him before.
Yeah, he actually interviewed with Jillian too. So
yeah. I'm pretty sure that I've seen him before.
She had a sit down one with him. She had one to New York and actually like met with him in studio. So that was a really good one.
We probably saw it.
I almost want to look it up now because I know I saw. I watch all the videos. Trouble connecting. What's going on?
Are we still on Instagram? It's okay. We'll take a couple more questions and then we are going
let me see if it's going on here. Oh, it's still here.
Okay, good. So that's probably just my phone.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions? What helps with inflammation? She ain't lying. Yes, preach. Do not know it. Of course, no supplements. I want to juice. Well, juice, honey. We suggest you get in the Nama Juicer using our discount code Sean Michelle 10. If you want to juice.
Oh, what'd you say, babe?
Juice.
I didn't hear what you said.
No, she said she wanted to.
You said a Nama Juicer.
Oh, I said the Nama Juicer. So get the discount. Use the discount code Sean Michelle 10. We find that to be the best juicer, truly.
No, it really is the best juicer.
Yeah, I have a Nama too. It's excellent. Incomparable. Yeah.
It's the best.
It's the best juicer.
Oh, we talked about this. What kind of lifestyle does she maintain now? We answered that. I asked you.
That. I live a high fruit lifestyle. So about 70% of what I consume is fruit. The other 30% are just like whole food, plant-based cooked meals.
Okay. I'm working on that. Fruit is.
I like that.
Sean loves fruit.
Fruit up to 5, huh?
Yes.
That's
it's just a good way to make sure you're regularly getting in that hydration.
Right. It seems easy. When you said it, I was like, yeah, because I saw him talking about it.
And I think something that has helped me for people watching, and it's helped me with the cravings and my taste buds literally is I used to end juice fast and not touch juice. Like the day we were done with the juice fast, I would put the juicer up. Mm-hmm. And then that would be it. But what I'm learning is that to have a juice every day, and I've been pretty good with that. And what that helps with, and I think fruiting up until like 4 and 5 p.m., I think is helpful there too, is it helps to change your taste buds. So that like when I did have the grilled, the vegan grilled cheese, it just didn't taste, it starts to taste funny when you have something natural every day. So it's like, you start to taste the science. You know what I mean? It's like you start to taste the chemicals. So instead of me having to fight like, oh no, I don't want this, I have to fight it. It doesn't taste good anymore.
Yeah.
So the satisfaction that I got from it, it's not doing the same thing. You know what I mean?
Literally, I would encourage you to eat fruit after your juice cleanse. You might appreciate it a little bit more than if it's, because a lot of people say they're a savory person, so they have a hard time. Like I have a coaching client and I'm working with her right now because she said she's more of a savory type of person, and I'm trying to get her to eat more fruit because she has gut issues. So I'm like, you need to cleanse the gut. And the best way to do that is, because she works a lot. So she's like a very demanding job. And for me, fruit is easy. I'm a sales agent. So I'm in my car all the time. And what's easy for me is just having a whole thing of fruit on my side. Passenger side is my sidekick. And you have to reframe how you even think about eating. We think we always need to be seated in front of somewhere with a spoon and a fork and a little hanky, and we gotta sit there and have time to eat. Like, if you hungry, just go and grab for something. I like to have mandarins. They're easy to peel. I just you can do it while you're driving. You can do anything, and then you're satiated. You do it while I like mono eating on the same fruit. They're just there. You just eat until you're satisfied and you move on with your life. I think we that's how the addiction has us. It controls our brains. We act like we don't know how to function. We got to over question everything. We overcomplicate eating. It's just because we don't want to do it. And we have to be, like Bobby says, we have to be honest with ourselves. You don't want to do it. You don't want to eat.
That's how you sound.
That's what it boils down to. We got to be honest with ourselves. It's not what we want to do, but it's like, if we want to get back to a more natural way of living, then we have to learn how to recondition and retrain our bodies to start doing it's just that we have so many chemicals inside of us that it's just like it's dulled our taste buds. Like we need something salty, stimulating in order to enjoy a meal. But once you start cleansing, you're going to enjoy the simplicity of a salad and some leafy greens, and you're going to enjoy the simplicity. Like you're going to taste the red bell pepper and the tomato and the cube. Like you actually enjoy those fresh flavors and that hydration. You get to a point where you don't even want anything dehydrating. Like you actually enjoy being able to eat and drink at the same time. It's like,
I know. All right. I think I'm gonna call your kids. I have one question as you call.
They sound quiet. They might.
We always let our kids. So our stories, of course, I healed myself naturally from fibroids. I suffered from infertility for 2 years. Juicing. I did 2 30-day juice fasts, a 17-day water fast, only ate vegan in between. And then I was able to have 3 kids in 4 years. So we always bring our beautiful children down to say goodnight because it's the proof that juicing and healing happens. We have the evidence in front of us every day. I wanted kids passionately, and I was told by doctors I couldn't have them until I healed myself. Who's asleep?
Both of them.
Oh, right.
Won't be stump is up.
Only Sean Jr. is up. One more question I had, because I think this was just on my mind. What about all of these products? Because now I think when pharmaceutical companies and drug companies always try to get on trends. So I think we've all been hearing that the gut is where you heal. So what do you feel about, because I see commercials for it now, about all the probiotic pills that are everywhere? And I think, they're getting on this trend of gut health, but I feel like their thing is to have a drug that says, hey, this will heal your gut health. So what do you feel? I know that you work with clients or coach clients, and then tell them where to follow you and how to, if they wanted to become a client of yours, how would they do that as well? Share that with us. So that was my last question. How do you feel about like probiotic pills?
I personally don't use probiotics. I don't know enough about them, honestly, to give you an honest opinion. It's not something I can say either way. It's like something I'm against or for. What I will say is, again, maybe if you eat super unhealthy and you're not really health conscious, if you feel like, you're not ready to make changes, maybe something like that will help balance out like that gut microbiome, like something that's going to aid and, if you're looking for a quick fix type thing. But if you're trying to make a lifestyle change, I think ultimately what's more important is what you're consuming on a regular basis, on a day-to-day. And it's always going to be about doing the hard work, overcoming the addiction to eat things that you know are not good for you, consuming the high vibrational, high water, high fibrous, electrical foods that our bodies were designed to consume, cleansing the gut. And I mean, there's foods that have natural probiotics and things of that sort. So everything that we would ever need to give our body balance can come from what comes from the earth. You don't need a pharmaceutical, you don't need a supplement, you don't need any of that. Our bodies weren't designed with pharmaceutical companies in mind. Our bodies were designed with nature.
Nature.
That's right.
All right. So guys, on that note, we want to say
Wait, but she got
my bad. That was my fault.
Sorry. And you can find me on my Instagram at Black Pineapple. That's with a 6LACK. I think it's an _ pineapple. I have a website, LashayTaylor.com, if you're interested in scheduling a consultation. I'll do a 15-minute free consultation with you, or 1 hour consultation with you. You will be paying for that one.
We are right on the website.
We are right there.
Yeah. So they could.
Yep. So it's just my name, LashayTaylor.com. And the consultation will determine, I could either just consult you and answer some questions, or we can determine whether or not you want to move forward and start your health journey. And I'm more than happy to help you with your health journey. I feel like I have a lot of wisdom that I've gained over the years during this experience. So there'll be some life coaching in there as well, some mindset stuff, mental health stuff. So yeah, that's how I get around. I'm on Facebook as well, and that's just my name, Lashay Taylor.
All right.
Well, thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Guys.
Here we go.
I'm sorry.
This is beautiful. I really enjoyed you having me on your platform. This is a fun
interview. Thank you for coming.
And have fun with your juice feasting. You guys are inspiring me. Maybe I'll do that. I've never been good with the juice fast, and I could eat some fruits, but I swear with juicing, for me, I'm lazy. That's just too much juicing. You'll get a bad.
The fruit is so much harder.
I keep hearing that's harder.
The fruit is so much harder. Juicing within 60 days. I'm telling you,
it was so much easier.
Really?
And it was the longest cleanse we've ever done.
You're inspiring me. I'm like, Michelle, grow up, eat some fruit.
because I love fruit, and even when we interviewed Bobby, I was like, I should do
because Bobby will have you shut any excuse you have. You'll be like, shut up, just shut up,
just making excuses.
Just shut up. Any excuse, just shut it up.
Listen, guys, if you receive some value today, let me see you type in the comment box 10K.
10K. We are on day 7, guys. We have 3 days to go.
Like I always say, listen, I'm proud of you guys. Y'all on day 7. Some of y'all would never juice anything in your life. Y'all didn't even know what a juice cleanse was, and now you are on day 7. Do you know how serious that is? A very small percentage of the world has done this, y'all.
Yes, and now
we're all doing this together.
All right.
Listen.
Yes, 10Ks. All right, guys.
10K, come on in. Yep, there it is. 10K. I know. I'm sorry.
Oh no, it's okay. I didn't want to. I felt like I was holding y'all.
No, you're not. No. We always
end with this. To have people shout. Yeah, it's frozen. To shout out 10K.
So listen, once again, thank you again for joining us. We had a great time. This was like a masterclass.
This was a masterclass. If you're not in the Facebook group, you better get on it. That's where the replay happens. The replay is in the Facebook group. If you ain't on it, you better get on it because you need to replay this, rewind it, take notes, write it again, show your cousin, show your sister. You need this one, honey.
You better get in where you fit in.
This is a master class.
You better get in where you fit in.
All right.
We'll see y'all tomorrow.
All right.
Same time, same bat channel. 8 p.m., y'all. 8 p.m. tomorrow. We're going live. All right. We love y'all. Lumpy Stump, say bye.
Now get in the bed. It is bedtime. All right.
That's the bedtime.
Yeah.
See y'all. See you later.
Good night, guys.
Nice meeting you, Lashay.
Yeah.
Yep. Bye.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.